Everyone looks at J.D. Vance, but the real mystery is his wife, Usha Vance. How she went from an immigrant kid to a life of unimaginable luxury. Usha's story looks like success, but what happens if your husband gets another woman pregnant? Is that still success? Today we will dive into Usha Vance's journey, struggles, and luxury lifestyle. Early life and education. How does someone raised thousands of miles from political power end up standing beside the Vice President of America, J.D. Vance? For Usha Vance, the answer lies in a family legacy that began centuries before she ever took her first breath. Let me take you inside that world for a moment.
I grew up in San Diego with two loving parents, both immigrants from India.
Imagine a home where learning isn't a choice or a rule, but the very air everyone breathes. That was the Chilukuri household. Usha Bala Chilukuri was born on January 6, 1986, in the calm neighborhoods of San Diego, California. And from the moment she arrived, she stepped into a story that had been building long before her name was ever chosen. Her parents, Radhakrishna Krish Chilukuri and Lakshmi Yechuri Chilukuri, were not ordinary immigrants. Krish, her father, was a mechanical engineer from the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, one of the most prestigious schools in India. Her mom, Lakshmi, was an ocean scientist who later became a provost at the University of California, San Diego. These were people who didn't just study science, they lived it. And once you understand that, everything that came next suddenly makes sense. Because when Usha walked into Mount Carmel High School, San Diego, California, she carried more than a backpack. She was known as the quiet overachiever who played the flute on football fields but always had a book under her arms. After graduating in 2003, she went straight to Yale University. There, her discipline paid off. She finished in 2007 with a degree in history and was awarded summa cum laude, an honor given only to the best graduating student. But she didn't stop there. In 2007, Usha was elected into Phi Beta Kappa, recognized as one of the very best students in the country, not just at Yale University. It's the oldest and most prestigious academic honor society in America. But here's the shocking part. In 2007, Usha left America for a year to teach English and American history in China through a program from Yale University. It was her way of understanding the world before deciding how to shape it. She returned to America in 2008 after winning a Gates-Cambridge Scholarship, a very prestigious award for study at Cambridge University in the UK, and completed her master's degree in early modern history there in 2009. But the defining moments of her life came in 2010 at Yale Law School. Usha became an editor across multiple student journals and argued real cases in the Supreme Court Advocacy Clinic, a law program where students work on real Supreme Court cases. Worked on issues like media freedom and helping Iraqi refugees. She always chose the path that demanded more from her, and that led to a career most lawyers could only dream about. In 2017, Usha worked for the Chief Justice while raising a baby, and before then, she had worked as an assistant to two powerful judges, Amul Thapar and Brett Kavanaugh. After that, she joined one of the most respected law firms in the country, Munger, Tolis & Olson, in 2015, handling major cases for clients such as Disney, Paramount, and the University of California. She was on track for a partnership, a huge deal in her legal career. Without a doubt, she was reaching for the top. But guess what? She gave it all up in July 2024, all because of J.D. Vance. Are you wondering why? Marriage. Let me take you into that part of her life for a moment, because this is where everything shifts. Usha walked into Yale Law School in 2010, thinking she was there only to study. But life had a different plan waiting in one of those classrooms. That plan was a quiet, serious man from Ohio named J.D. Vance. And from the moment they met, something unexpected started forming between them.
When JD met me, he approached our differences with curiosity and enthusiasm.
You probably know this already. JD came from a world completely different from hers, a typical American with lots of childhood trauma. Usha is from a well-cultured Indian background and a family that believed discipline was a form of love. On paper, they shouldn't have made sense, but that's exactly why their story is so interesting. Their professor, Amy Chua, noticed it first. She once called them complete opposites, yet somehow a perfect match. And she wasn't wrong. JD felt lost at Yale University. Usha became the person who helped him breathe. She shared notes, explained things, pushed him, challenged him. Slowly, JD realized he wasn't just learning the law, he was falling in love. They married on June 14, 2014 in Kentucky, an interfaith ceremony blending her Hindu roots and his Christian upbringing. It was simple, beautiful, and full of quiet promises. On that day, I watched two worlds become one. Soon came their three children, Ewan in 2017, Vivek in 2020, and little Mirabelle in 2021. Everything was just perfect in that family until July 15, 2025, when Donald Trump announced J.D. Vance as his vice presidential running mate. But that's when I saw real love played out. Hours after the announcement, Usha Vance resigned her legal career to support her husband's political journey and look after the kids. But the shocking moments of their marriage came in November 2025, right after activist Charlie Kirk's death. It happened at a Turning Point USA event. Erika Kirk, Charlie's widow, walked on stage, introduced J.D. Vance, and then gave him a hug that didn't look innocent at all. Her hand on his head, his hands on her hips, just long enough for people to whisper, "Wait, what was that?" Then Erika added more fire when she said,
"No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD, and Vice President JD Vance. I do."
But that's not all. I've heard whispers that Erika Kirk got pregnant with J.D. Vance, and everything began to make sense. Shortly after that, J.D. began to express dissatisfaction with his marriage. He even said in an interview that his wife not sharing his Christian faith was becoming a political problem for him, basically admitting their marriage was hurting his public image. But believe me, in all of these, the most shocking part of this story is buried in Usha Vance's unimaginable life of luxury. Luxury lifestyle. I'll be honest with you, I did not expect Usha Vance to be this rich. When I first checked the numbers, I had to look twice. $5.5 million in her own name, and a household fortune of $12 million with J.D. Vance. How does someone live with that kind of money? So I started digging, and what I found shocked me even more. Let's start with her legal career. Most of you didn't know that Usha Vance was receiving up to $200,000 a year working as an assistant for Supreme Court justices. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. When she moved to Munger, Tolis & Olson law firm, where partners can earn over $1 million yearly, her real colors came to play. But don't get me wrong, Usha Vance didn't waste all that money. She put the cash into smart real estate deals, and that's where the story gets interesting. Let's start with their Cincinnati mansion, bought for $1.4 million in 2018, and it's now worth around $1.8 million. This isn't some everyday house. It's 6,405 square feet, sitting on 2.3 acres, with tall windows, wide halls, and a view of the Ohio River that looks like something from a travel ad. 5 luxurious bedrooms, 4 baths, and a yard big enough to host a small festival. Who knew the second lady lived like this? Her fashion. I thought she dressed simply, until I checked the prices. Did you know that her black velvet Oscar de la Renta dress is worth $7,000? Are you now wondering how much this soft pink cashmere coat costs? $9,000? Yes, you heard me right. Even her simple, regular gowns cost $3,000 to $6,000 each. Her closet is basically a mini museum of rich taste worth over $500,000. I ask you, how many closets does someone need to store that level of luxury? The jewelry tells its own story. Her engagement ring alone, a 2-carat center diamond with sapphire sides, sits at around $40,000. But here is the twist. Usha was recently spotted without her rings. People started saying she left JD Vance because of Erika. Well, what do I know? Back to the jewelry. She rotates between $10,000 diamond earrings, $1,500 pearl earrings, and custom pieces that look soft, but quietly say, "Yes, I'm wealthy." Her travel life? Let me put it simply. She vacations like someone who doesn't ask for hotel prices. A private Colosseum tour in Italy costing over $50,000, Scottish villas at $4,000 a night, and an annual travel bill that clears $200,000 without trying. 8 trips in 7 months in 2025 alone. Who even lives like that? And when she travels by air, she flies on Air Force Two, the official vice presidential jet. It's a flying palace in the sky, and every trip per hour costs taxpayers $200,000. Let's not even talk about the rides. There is a $100,000 Lexus SUV and a $120,000 Range Rover. But that's not all. There is also a $120,000 Tesla Model X. As you can see, every corner of her life glows with rich, careful choices. And the deeper I look, the more I wonder. What is really happening between JD Vance and Usha? Could their love survive the shadow of Erika Kirk? Or is this just the beginning of a deeper conflict? Let me know in the comments, and if you like this video, click on this card for more.